What's up, guys? Zaid here, and today I've got for you another post Darkwing Blast deck profile. This deck is a branded Byssted deck, which everybody keeps telling me I'm pronouncing these cards wrong, that it's not Byssted. Everyone's saying a bunch of different names, but I don't care. It's Byssted to me now because these cards are cracked. They're insane. And so this deck profile is someone sent me this on Dueling Book, and I was testing it a little bit, and I liked it. And so I figured I'd talk about it and also talk about like some stuff that I would want to test now moving forward with a deck like this. And so another thing with these post Darkwing Blasts, kind of ignore the side deck. I'm not too worried about those, but I'm gonna get right into it. Also, if I seem a little off today, it's because I literally just woke up and was like, "What's the first thing I want to do?" I think I want to make a deck profile, so that's what I'm doing. But to get right into it, the concept of this deck's just like one card starter turbo. Like as you could see, the branded engine is kind of minimalized to just be one card starters for the Byssted cards. And so we play triple Eluber, one Tragedy, two Fallen, three Branded Fusion. Foolish Burial like technically counts as a branded card, but it also like counts as these because it could send Tragedy for Eluber, or it could send Lubellion, or it could send Sorinir to dump another one. And so it's just like really versatile, but it's in the branded stuff. Three Opening to summon Eluber. And that's it for the branded cards, unless you count rebranded and branded Beast, which obviously those are branded cards, but they're mainly tutored through the other engine. And the main thing you're doing with this engine is like using branded fusion to summon, and then like summoning Albion and dumping Lubellion, or summoning what's it called, Lubellion and dumping Sorinir to then dump Lubellion. Like this engine mainly in this type of deck is a Foolish Burial for this card. If you could end on something like a Mirror Jade or a Masquerade on top of it, that's nice, or a Dracostapelia. But typically, it's just getting you access to this to get you access to these. In this deck, you kind of want turns to like progress throughout the duel. You want to like get the duel to go into 1 turn to 3 turns, 5 turns. You know, like just force it into the grind, and this is generating infinite advantage over that grind. But it also like it's just a bunch of 1-card starters, so you hopefully open 2 or 3 1-card starters, and they gotta have hand traps, you know. But then for the Byssted package, we played 3 Lubellion, 3 Magnemite, 1 of the Spell, 1 of the Trap, 2 Druid Worm, and 2 Sorinir. I think that these 2 are for sure just going to be 3-ofs in most strategies that play them, because this is the best one, and this is the best hand trap, because it also like is going to search you follow up on the next turn. And then these 2, I think the ratios are going to change from deck to deck. Since we're typically procking this from deck, I could see this one going down to 1 and this one going down to 1, honestly. I'm not too dead set on these being 2-ofs, but the list that I got had them as 2-ofs. I would be interested, though, in removing these and just expanding on the Despia package a little bit more. I feel like the Despia package is a little bit lacking. Like, maybe, the thing is that it feels underwhelming in this build to summon a Mirror Jade, because if you're not also getting a branded in red set up with the Mirror Jade, it's not crazy. But like I was saying, with the intention to be to like draw games out, Mirror Jade is always going to be decent at that, because like when he hits the board, if they don't have a clean way to return it to deck, they have to kill you that turn. And if they can't, their board gets wiped. And if their board gets wiped, that's good for you in a grind game. And so the fact that these cards will kind of like help you stay alive and get that end phase to proc and blow up their board is kind of nice. But like I could see these going down, because you only really like this, you can search off of the branded fusion, dumping it to dump this, and then this one you only ever really want to be searching probably on the end phase with this, so that you have an additional interruption with Beast. But after those, we got the 3 Prosperity. Prosperity in this build seems aight. Like, I don't think you're oftentimes really going to be drawing with rebranded, and so it doesn't like lack too much synergy, but it does suck that sometimes you're not able to get that rebranded draw. And then aside from that, though, when everything's 1-card starters, it's just like, cool, I opened the Lubellion, let me dig for Branded Fusion, or let me dig for this card, which we'll go over in a minute. And it's just like, it's really, really strong. Prosperity has felt really strong. The extra deck, I usually am banishing like this stuff, the non-fusion stuff, when I use it, because most of the time you're locked into fusions. These are there just in case you're not. And then the 3 Ash, 3 Imperm, 3 Veiler, and 3 Kshatri La Fenrir for the going second cards. Fenrir is like a going first and second card, and I think this card is probably going to be a staple 3 of in almost every deck moving forward, because like when you're going first, it's just a one card, one interruption. So it fits the script for this deck for just like one card starters. With it being a going second card, you could look at it like a hand trap. And most hand traps, like if you draw 5 hand traps, suck. Not suck, you're going to dismantle their plays, but you don't really have like pressure. Whereas this card, if you were to open this with 4 hand traps, special, searches a copy of itself, and then it's an interruption, so it's acting like it was a hand trap, but now you also have the search copy of itself as follow-up if they're to out it. You could special it, and it's good going second, like we said, because the effect, for those of you that don't know, first off, during your main phase, you can add a Kashri Law monster from your deck to your hand. Doesn't exclude itself, so you just search itself. And if you control no monsters, you could special summon it. That's its summoning condition. And then when this card declares an attack, or if your opponent activates a monster effect, target a face-up card your opponent controls and banish it face down. So it's a really strong piece of removal going first, like when you're setting up a board, or going second trying to break a board. And I just really love it. And like I said, the synergy with hand traps is unreal. In decks that want to be playing a lot of going second cards, they're for sure going to be playing this. And then these one-card starter decks, like, they're going to for sure be playing this. Cards like Brave Piles, decks like Brave Piles, I feel like will for sure be playing this. Because this plus right is just 2 interruptions for 2 cards with follow-up on both ends. It's insane. And then I'm going to stop harping about how insane this card is. That card deserves a video on its own. But I'm going to move into the extra deck. Triple Albion. This card's more important in this type of build, I think, since you're often trying to get it on field to tribute for the busted Lubellion, since it's a dragon. This one's also a dragon, but you don't get like an end phase effect with it. And the fact that we get to set one with Albion means that we could set the trap on the end phase and use this dude to get the spell and proc the draw if we haven't Prosperity. So it's kind of nice having access to 2 different ways to access those. But like I was saying earlier, I think this would be probably more powerful with another branded interruption to be set off of it. Because there are lines where, say you open like 2 of these cards, you could pitch, search Soronir, summon the Soronir with whatever you or your opponent have engraved, tribute it to special the Lubellion, and then you're going to use Lubellion to set up the trap. Soronir dump the spell, so on the end phase, the trap's effect will activate to get the spell. And so, in those type of instances, if I was to then also have access to Albion, I would want to have something else I can get. I mean, it gets follow-up because it can grab a branded fusion, but I'd rather grab a negate a lot of times. Like, I like negates. I like interruptions. I like not letting my opponent play, especially if I already, like, obtained follow-up through other means. So I think it would just be a good option, but it would be kind of bricky. So maybe it's not worth it, but we'll test it out. We got 2 Mirror Jade. This feels like it comes up less often in this build, but it's still really strong. The Lubellion, the Quartus, the Dracosepelia, and the Albalenius. In my little bit of testing with this deck so far, I haven't made the Quartless. I'm not sure what instances this is going to come up in, but I don't know. I guess like this is a card I think could be cut, but I also might just not be seeing its use. And then these cards are just like average. We play the new rank 6. It looks like this card I haven't made yet either, but I think it's like DD Crow. Yeah, it gains 100 attack and defense for each card in your opponent's grave, which is already really cool. That's good for going for game. Quick effect, target a card in your opponent's grave, then detach 1 or 2 from this to activate the appropriate effect. If you detach 1, you shuffle it. And if you detach 2 and it's a monster, you summon it and face-up attack or face-down defense to your side of the field. That's wild. Oh, otherwise set it to your field. So if it's a spell or trap, you still can take it too. That is insane. Yeah, but this card's cracked. I haven't made it yet. Like I said, I got this deck from somebody else, and I've only tested it a little bit. But I wanted to share it with you guys, see what your ideas will become after it. And, like, maybe you'll give me some pointers and stuff that I won't even have to learn through testing. I could learn through you. But then, for the links, Hieratic Seal, Dark, Access Code, and Unicorn. These, I'm assuming that this line is just for lethal. I haven't personally used it to go for lethal yet, but your entire board, like, leaves you with Darks. Also, it could be cool, like, going second, how you could just throw these guys on the board, and then when your turn rolls around, if you threw 2 on, it could go Dark, grab one of their guys, go Unicorn, Access Code, like, it just seems really strong. But, the Seal is really strong, because it's like an interruption plus follow-up, and if you have the Trap, it can summon Druid Worm, which turns it into, like, 2.5, 3 interruptions here. Because, like, if you've got the Trap and you've got this, you tribute the Seal to bounce their card. You use Seal to summon Druid Worm, and then you use trap, send Druid Worm to pop a card, and then Druid Worm will send a special summon monster. So like this kind of just gives you a lot of interruptions if you have the trap. But that's the deck profile, guys. If you've got any feedback on it, let me know. If you see this and you're the guy that sent it to me on Dueling Book, thank you for sending it to me. Don't know if you thought it would be posted or not, but thank you nonetheless. And let me know what you guys think about the deck. Let me know what you've been testing for the new format post Darkwing Blast, and maybe if you got some sick lists, send them to me on Dueling Book. Zaid Slater on YouTube's the Dueling Book name, and if I like them, I'll talk about them. But yeah, thanks, guys.